I want to talk about how to render images within Blender. When we render an image within Blender, it's going to be rendered from the camera perspective. We can switch to the camera perspective by clicking on the toggle camera view icon over here on the right. The shortcut for that is the 0 numpad key. And when we click on that icon, it gives us a zoomed out view of the camera perspective. It shows both what's inside the field of view of the camera, inside this lighted square, but also what's outside the camera's field of view in the shaded region around the lighted square. We can adjust this by zooming in and out using the mouse scroll wheel. If we zoom out, that gives us a wider perspective of what's outside the camera's field of view. And this is useful if we want to move objects and get them within our camera's field of view so that they show up within our rendered image. You can also zoom in and maximize this area within your workspace. And I recommend using this perspective to complete some of the exercises that I'm going to ask you to do, because that will ensure the scenes that you create, all the objects you add or the transformations you perform will appear within your final rendered image. For example, if I try to create a cube within the standard perspective over here, it might be difficult to tell whether this is going to show up within the camera's view or not. If I switch to the camera view, you can see, oh, the cube I created is actually off here to the right. It's outside the camera's field of view. So if we're in the camera perspective when we're creating our primitives or when we are performing transformation on our objects, we're guaranteed that whatever we do, if it shows up in this perspective, it's going to show up in our final rendered image. Now, to render an image, what I'm going to do is come up to the render menu in the top and click on render image. That's going to show us a preview of what our image is going to look like. If we're in the camera view already, camera perspective already, it's going to look very similar to what we're seeing within our workspace. You'll notice the grid is gone and they've applied some shading to the object. But other than that, it looks fairly similar. If everything looks good, we can click on Image Save As, and we can save the image somewhere. I recommend saving it somewhere you can find it so it's easy to upload to Google Classroom. So either on the desktop or downloads. You can give the image a name. I can call this, for instance, renderimage2.png. Over to the right, you can make some changes to some of the options. You can change the file format, the color depth, compression, stuff like that. You shouldn't need to make any changes to those options, but those are available if you want to make changes to those. Once everything is set, you could click Save as Image and save your image. And that is how you render an image within Blender. Thanks for watching.